Hello everyone. So today we will be discussing over the development of sex organs in humans. So let's start our discussion. So we know that sex organs are categorized into the two ways, that is the primary sex organs and secondary sex organs, on the basis to ease of understanding as well as their functions. So the sex organs are categorized into the two ways, primary and secondary. So let's first understand the primary sex organs in male and in female. Now the interesting thing to note here is that they both are developed from the embryonic mesoderm. Embryonic mesoderm. Development by the embryonic mesoderm. Now what happens is that males have a primary sex organ as testes, and these testes developed in the abdominal cavity, but in the 8th month of intrauterine life they descends into the extra abdominal cavity, that is the scrotal sac. So let's write down it here, that in the 8th month of intrauterine life descends in the scrotal sac, or it is also termed as the scrotum, and localized here. But such things not happens with the female ovary. We all know that ovary is the primary sex organ of the females. So ovary is developed inside abdominal cavity, and present throughout the entire life in embryonic cavity. Then throughout life in abdominal cavity. So this is all the information related to the development of primary sex organs. They develop from the embryonic mesoderm. The testes descends into the extra abdominal cavity, that is called to be as a scrotal sac or scrotum, unlike the ovary, which develop inside the abdominal cavity and remains inside the abdominal cavity. So you can note down here. Now when it comes to secondary sexual characters, we have to understand few terms. During our ontogeny, that is our embryonic development, we have developed two kinds of the characters. That first is the ancestor characters and second is the advanced characters. Ancestor characters are grow to degenerate, but the advanced characters are grow to develop. Let's write it here, that ontogeny. In ontogeny, during ontogeny, two types of characters. Character. One is the advanced characters. But another type is the ancestors character. Now a question may be rise in your mind, that why these ancestor characters are coming? Because we have survived so much of the evolution of about millions of years ago, so it is very obvious to be present with the ancestor characters. Okay, so let's understand called as a nephron plate. Nephron plate generally have the three parts, that is the pronephric. Also it is discussed in the excretion chapter, but let's discuss here. Pronephric, mesonephric, and metanephric. Now, what is the role of both three parts? The protonephric is kind of old. Mesonephric. Mesonephric is kind of something advanced, and this metanephric is sort of the advanced character. Pronephric generally makes the excretory organ of the fishes. Mesonephric makes the excretory organs of amphibians like frogs, and this metanephric makes the advanced organs or the advanced human's kidney. Okay. So why we are discussing this term here? Because this term is going to be a use of us. So let's understand in females what happens. So these characters are ancestor characters. If pronephric developed in the humans, they are going to be degenerated or regression. But in the advanced character, they grow to develop. But they grow to degenerate. Like pronephric, they will generally very early grow and very early they get degenerated because they are the ancestor characters, the old characters. But the advanced characters like the metanephric, they are growing to develop. Okay, so these two terms are important. Now let's understand in females what happens. So let's erase these parts. So for organogenesis, we have an organ called Mullerian duct. They are also termed as the paramesonephric. Para word is used for the surrounding. So we can say here the duct which is surrounded by the mesonephric duct is called to be as the paramesonephric. Now what they do, they are the site or the they're going to help in the development of the female secondary sex organs. So they will develop the uterus, vagina and all other secondary sex organ. So they don't use the mesonephric or all other, so they simply make by the paramesonephric. But in males what happens is that they cannot use the Mullerian duct because for organogenesis the Mullerian duct is making the vagina, uterus and all. So the problem with male is that they cannot degenerate their mesonephric duct there. So they take the use of mesonephric duct. So mesonephric duct is used. Why? Because the Mullerian duct is insufficient to make the sex organs of this secondary sex organs of this male. So what happens is that males have Y chromosome. Now this Y chromosome, what will do be, it will activate the testis determining factor, which then respond to the testis, and in response the Sertoli cells of the testis makes their life's first hormone. What hormone? Sertoli cells. They make anti-Mullerian hormone. Now what this hormone do is that regression of Mullerian duct. Now when Mullerian duct is regradated, or this term is simply called to be degenerated. So when they degenerated, then the development takes through mesonephric duct. So development is going to take place through the mesonephric duct. So you can write it. So in this series we had understood here the development portion. Now let's discuss something extra. Here we have understood that there is a regression of the Mullerian duct. So in the females there is a regression of mesonephric duct. Now when there is something regressing, its remnant will be remains. So in the females the remnant remains in the form of paraphoron or epiphoran, and in males the remnants are prostatic utricle, they are the remnants absolutely of no use. Thread-like structure is present. This structure is present around the uterus and ovary, and this remnant is present in the side of prostate gland. So this is about. Now we also can understand this remnants as the nucleus pulposa, which is present in the intervertebral disc. So intervertebral discs have a presence of a remnant structure called the nucleus pulposa. So which is also a best example of the ancestor characters, which is grow to degenerate actually. So this is something about the development of sex organs which we have understood today, and that's enough for today.